morning, y'all. What's up? How y'all doing? Of course, wanted to get back onto things. I'm a little more back to normal with most everything, but just wanted to start getting to where I'm doing at least one or two of these in the morning before I head into work, or just in the morning in general. Of course, I may not be in the best of moods as a result of a little event from last night. Not really going to talk much about that one, at least not right now anyway, but yeah, obviously it was a pretty significant week, not just in sports, but also in wrestling as well. Specifically with everything going on surrounding the whole Cody, Roman, Rock, Seth, and everything that goes in and outside of that, a lot of stuff that happened just WWE wise, of course. Now, needless to say, that doesn't mean there wasn't going to be news outside of WWE, especially when you think about that, when you think about the Vince situation. Of course, Tony Khan be making him moves, apparently. It's just real wild because they're good moves. They're actually great moves, depending on how he goes about these moves. But the thing about it is that it isn't just these moves in specific that, should have the most attention here. I mean, there are a lot of things like lower card needing to be booked a little bit better, and of course, there's some significant progress as far as the women's division is concerned, and I imagine with what I'm about to talk about, that'll only get better. But more than that, I just want to start with talking about the apparent signing of one Kazuchika Okada, who is, of course, one of the major free agents of the year, along with Mercedes Moné and others. Will Osprey, I guess, if you want to count him, but that seemed to have been a done deal before the year even turned. That was even announced at World's End, which was literally New Year's Eve, but I digress on that. It was just really interesting because, there was a really, really significant expectation that WWE was going to make a play for probably all three of these names that I'm speaking of, specifically in Mercedes and Okada and Osprey. For whatever reason, though, it seems WWE didn't want to offer the kind of money that that Mercedes was looking for, and that honestly is astonishing to me because, if you want to keep people away from AEW, which, I mean, that's kind of been a thing in the past, WWE signing people to big contracts, and at least at that point, they weren't really doing what they should have been with them, and I think we all know why. But that's really all aside from the point. The point being, I just figured there'd be a little bit of that would have carried over. I mean, they were good in bringing in Jade Cargill, but I thought that, along with, from what I'm understanding, it seems the likelihood now is WWE will be bringing in Julia, so, I mean, at least that's going to be good for them. I mean, I don't know that that's been entirely confirmed yet. I almost forgot about this one. They had an opportunity to bring in Camille, but somehow at the last second, she is now all elite all of a sudden. I mean, I don't really know what it is that has happened that's gotten us to this point, but what I can say is that it just is kind of baffling to know WWE wouldn't make a more serious effort to bring in a lot more of these names, especially with all the things that have been going on. I mean, yeah, again, they brought in Jade, they brought back Naomi. I'm hearing they're bringing another name in. I'm not real sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. But again, there's also Julia, or at least as of now, that's what it looks like. But again, that's the same thing we were saying about Camille. But focusing now on the big three with Okada, Osprey, and Mercedes. The big question now is just how will they be utilized? Because of course there's a matter of a lot of signees like a Keith Lee, Malachi Black, Andrade, Miro, who basically were left to the wayside by WWE a few years ago, and of course that left it wide open for AEW to pick them up. And of course we don't know what's going on with Miro. We haven't really seen much of him since he defeated Andrade, and there hasn't been much of that story with him and CJ. Of course Andrade's now on Monday Night Raw. So is Tony Khan going to repeat a lot of the same mistakes? I would hope not, and I would think not, especially in the case of Mercedes and Okada at least. And Osprey, there's already a number of big-time major storylines and situations that, are just ready to go where he's concerned. And that's just going to be really, really intriguing to see the direction all of that goes once that happens. But that just leaves the question of Okada and Mercedes, because now with Mercedes being in the fold, you gotta know that, as I talked about before, things have really got to start changing with the women's division. I mean, we've seen signs of it already. You got 2 women's matches being booked on Collision more consistently over the last few weeks, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. And even moreover, I would dare say expect that to be the case on Dynamite with Mercedes there, and especially March 13th Big Business. I mean, a lot of things are going to wind up changing at that point. A lot of people are expecting Okada to show up that night as well. I don't know about that. I kind of feel like that's where I think we see him at Revolution, but I could be wrong on that. I mean, we're not really sure how Tony Khan's planning these things out as of this moment, but that would be my strategy, if nothing else, would be bringing him in, similar to the way that they actually brought in Swerve Strickland a few years ago when he first signed with AEW. That took place at Revolution. So I'm having a tough time seeing any reason to not repeat the same thing in the case of Kazuchika Okada. But again, I don't know TK's strategy, and at the end of the day, anything's possible with how all of this unfolds. I mean, it may not even stop there. There's still a lot that's to be cited, and there was a thing of a bidding war of 2024 that was supposed to be centered around MJF. I mean, no way we're not going to see him back before too long, especially in the case of the Undisputed Kingdom. But that's really neither here nor there. I'm just looking forward to the best being yet to come. Let me know what y'all think. Are y'all hyped for Mercedes, Okada, and Osprey? And you know what it is. Like, share, subscribe. I'll be back later.